What up, Mike? Toronto. VK on the beat. Check. I'm in Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm from Toronto where you wanna get the city love. I'm in Toronto like we wanna get the city love. My city love me back for my city love.
Welcome to episode 1160 of Toronto Mic'd. Proudly brought to you by Great Lakes Brewery. Order online for free local home delivery in the GTA. StickerU.com. Create custom stickers, labels, tattoos, and decals. Palma Pasta. Fresh, homemade Italian pasta and entrees. The Yes, We Are Open podcast. A Moneris podcast production. The Advantaged Investor podcast from Raymond James, Canada. RecycleMyElectronics.ca. Committing to our planet's future means properly recycling our electronics of the past. Ridley Funeral Home. Pillars of the community since 1921. Canna Cabana. The lowest prices on cannabis. Guaranteed. And Sammy Cone Real Estate. Ask Sammy any real estate questions at sammy.cone@properlyhomes.ca. Joining me today, returning to Toronto Mike to unveil his top 100 songs of 2022, is Dave Hodge. How are you, Dave?
Well, I'm fine, Mike, and how are you?
I am good. Are you back to seeing any live music, or are you still being COVID cautious?
Well, no, there have been a few this and that over the summer. Some winery concerts, some memorable stuff with Serena Ryder, Daniel Lanois, Chantal Kreviazuk, and husband Rain Maida. What else have I seen? Went to I'll get into something else that I was at recently, and I'm planning to see a couple things before Christmas, which I will mention. But it's not the same. You have to make sure you're in safe surroundings, and I do my best to do that. I am one of the only people I know that luckily, hopefully this doesn't jinx it. No announcer jinx here. I've not had COVID, nor has my wife. So we figure we're Cal Ripken, you know.
Well, then I'm right there too. Maybe I'm. Who would I be in that scenario? Because I have never had COVID, as far as I know, and I don't believe in jinxes. Otherwise, I'd be knocking on all the wood in this studio right now.
Well, that's good. Well, when you said when you asked how I was, and I said I'm good, and how are you? I think we should probably try to define tradition, because I don't know how many years make a tradition, but I think we're a tradition, Mike, aren't we?
Well, Dave, this is our 5th year of having you on Toronto Mike to unveil your top 100 of the calendar year. I am so excited that you're back to unveil again your top 100 songs of 2022. I'm going to repeat this later in our catch-up before we get to your list, but all of your songs will be listed on Hodge100.com. So that's Hodge and then the numeric 100.com. We're ready to, and shout out to Tyler Campbell, the VP of Sales, but we're ready to unveil your list right as soon as this podcast goes live.
Well, the ground rules I must state again, so no one is misunderstood or sees it the wrong way. I rank 1 through 10, and we'll play 10 through 1. And in between, I'll mention the titles of 90 other recordings to be quite accurate. I used to do songs, and they had to be new songs written and released in the calendar year. In this case, we've got at least 2 recordings from albums that came out of archives that I couldn't ignore because they were so important to the year. And I've kind of relaxed the rules on covers. If I hear a cover song that is he's good enough. No, it's not a new song in 2022, but it's a new recording in 2022. So again, we will hear my 10 best, and the other 90 will be listed in groups of 10 according to alphabet by artist name. So nobody gets confused when they look at the website. Hopefully they will, and say, what is that doing in number 97? It should be number 11. And it might well have been number 11 if I'd gone beyond 10. So yes, alphabet 11 through 100, and my top 10 ranked 1 through 10, played 10 through 1. Boy, this is, I was trying to avoid confusion, and I hope I haven't added to it. But anyway, what else do we talk about before we hit the music?
Well, I was going to say, obviously, with the Hodge 100 episode of Toronto Mic'd, we're going to be hearing you talk a lot about music. So off the top, I have a few sports-related questions for you because, as we know, Dave Hodge is a double-edged sword here. You got the music knowledge, the music passion, but also sports. So if it's all right, we'll do a brief check-in, catch-up, if you will. And I'm going to start with the World Cup because we finally have a goal. A beauty by Alphonso Davies, and sadly we don't yet have a win, and we won't be advancing. But I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on the men's soccer team in the 2022 World Cup in Qatar?
Well, my first thought is that all the research I've done suggests that the correct pronunciation is gutter, almost a G at the beginning instead of a K if you were to say Cotter, because initially I was told that the best way to remember the correct pronunciation was to remember "Welcome Back, Cotter," and it's not quite Cotter, but for all those who are saying Qatar, I am told that is incorrect. Otherwise, my thoughts are obviously a monumental achievement to be at the World Cup, although. What Canada did in the CONCACAF qualifying shouldn't have surprised anybody that it resulted in a World Cup appearance. Nor should anybody be surprised that Canada is not advancing and suffered defeats to Belgium and Croatia. Now, it could have and perhaps should have beaten Belgium, which would have changed everything. But they were outclassed by Croatia, and in the midfield, that shouldn't have surprised anybody. I'm talking like I'm a soccer expert. Like I'm not, but I've tried to follow it, right. And I've talked to a lot of people who know a lot more than I do. So maybe a little too much hype for those who are disappointed in Canada's showing, because, as I say, I think it was predictable. I get that the goal was a magic moment, but I just don't know how much celebration there can be or should be in a goal that doesn't result in a point in the standings. So yeah, we'll remember it. It was a beautiful goal, and it was by Alphonso Davies. But maybe I think a little too much was made of that. And obviously, you can't ignore the missed penalty kick, which, again, could have changed everything, and that involved Davies as well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we only have the one in the history of the universe. So it was just baby steps here, Dave. We finally have a goal. Next World Cup, we get a win, and then maybe we can even talk about advancing beyond the initial round.
Yeah, I think the next time the expectations hopefully are higher and should be higher, and are achieved, because there's something to build on here. And much as the women have stood at the top of the world stage, Canada's got a long way to go to do that. But I think there is promise for the future, and I think what this has done for the sport, I mean, it's made me watch.
Right.
And I'm not alone. There's a lot of others who wouldn't have, and and have decided that they better watch this. So, and I'll continue to watch right to the end.
Now, meanwhile, Canada's won the Davis Cup for the first time ever. This is tennis, everybody. But Dave, I'm dying to know your thoughts on this, because people I know and trust tell me that this is a very big deal. But I'm here pushing 50, and I consider myself a pretty big sports fan. But I've never had a moment in my life where I thought to myself, I wish Canada would one day win the Davis Cup. I've never had that moment. So I want you to help me get some perspective here. I know it's a big deal and I should be excited about it, but I feel like it's grand slam or bust when it comes to professional tennis. What say you?
Well, in our younger years, it would have been a big deal. It would have been a huge deal the way the Davis Cup was played back then. Now it's, shall we say, an event that has been reduced in stature by its format. And I honestly didn't know that it was on, that Canada was in it, and until it was almost too late that Canada had won it. And a lot else was going on. Obviously, the World Cup at the top of that list. But they haven't changed the name. It's still called the Davis Cup. There's still all sorts of tennis nations that participate, and there's a winner, and Canada has never been that winner, and Canada is now. And again, in terms of the future, leading with Felix and Shapovalov. I mean, who knows what can happen in Grand Slam events? So it should not be ignored for sure. But it's too bad, I think, that the Davis Cup isn't is what it was. And you and I will be accused of, never mind how good things were in the past. This is fantastic, and it's now. And it is. It's good, and it's now, and it should be celebrated. But we remember when it would have been a bigger deal.
Congratulations to your friend and fellow FOTM, Brian Williams. He was honored by Sports Media Canada for career achievement. How's Brian doing?
Brian's still Brian. He's a going concern, and was wonderful to see him not only honored there, but inducted into Canada's Sports Hall of Fame, which I think was long overdue. And obviously the Order of Canada, and however many ACTRA awards or whatever they're called now. So among the most celebrated TV journalists in this country's history. And I introduced him at the Sports Media Canada luncheon and decided that a listing of his many accomplishments, otherwise known as reading his Wikipedia page, would not be a suitable introduction. So I introduced him, or tried to anyway, as my friend. And my last line was, this year's Career Achievement Award winner is my friend of 50 years, Brian Williams. So it was a nice event. A particular mention is due Rick Westhead for being honored for work that I have called astounding, inspiring. Never thought I'd see it on a sports TV network. Going where the story leads you no matter what. And they have gone places that I never thought they would go. And there are great benefits for doing that. I'm sure there are drawbacks as well. But they have enabled and defended, supported Rick. And so hooray to him for dogged investigation and reporting and presentation. And hooray for my former network, one of them, for being in the forefront of work that is really stunning. And Rick's speech was very emotional, and showed that this has taken over his life, really, in all sorts of good ways. He we had a nice chat. And obviously, the Kyle Beach interview is at the front and center of an example of Rick's work, groundbreaking stuff. And he told me that Kyle Beach reaches out and speaks with Rick once a week. And talk about a reward for doing great work. I don't know that there's a better reward than to know that you've impacted his life and indirectly the lives of so many others based on one story that you broke. We used to call them scoops. This was a whole lot more than that.
Congratulations, Rick Westhead, without a doubt. Well deserved. When Gino Reda came to the door when he was making his Toronto Mike debut, he looked at me and he had this bright-eyed look in his face and he said, "Holy Rick Westhead." So at least in Gino Reda's opinion, Rick Westhead and I look similar.
Well, any comparison to Rick, I think, take it with a thank you and a deep bow. Rick had a great line about all the lawyering that his work requires at TSN, and obviously the lawyer whose name was mentioned, and I can't quite I actually do remember it, but I'm not going to mention it. But the lawyer told Rick, he said, "I put an extension on my house, and I call it the Westhead Wing." So Rick is being rewarded in many ways, and in at least one way, so is the TSN lawyer that's responsible for this can go, but that can't. But he lets a whole lot go, and hooray to him too.
Oh, that's funny. By the way, speaking of Toronto Mike debuts, before Brian Williams made his debut, which what a great conversation that was. But he told me he wasn't going to visit this guy's basement until he spoke to his friend Dave Hodge and made sure that Dave Hodge would vouch for this Toronto Mike fellow. Well,
hey, Mike, find me the person that says I told them not to come. And, that'll never happen. So,
good.
Yeah, filter all of your requests through me if you want, but it shouldn't have been necessary. Anyway,
well, okay.
I hope I know Brian enjoyed it, and I'm glad to hear you did too.
Love Brian. Now, speaking of Hall of Fames, I'm hoping you could share some thoughts on the passing of the King, Börje Salming.
Well, it was difficult to watch his visit to Toronto and what the Leafs did. It was so emotional as to be not difficult. You kept going back and forth. Should I be fighting this or should I just go with it? And he was the player that everybody said he was. He was shy when he came over. Wasn't big on interviews. Never really was, to be honest. I would guess you could say did his talking on the ice. I wasn't shocked at hearing of his death shortly after he returned to Sweden. And I wondered whether assisted death was part of a plan. And then I was told that one of the reasons he came to Toronto was to get a drug that might help his condition in some way that couldn't be imported to Sweden, but could be carried into Sweden if the patient taking the drug was already on it and had it on his person. And I'm told that this drug was made available to Börje. So either the death was planned, which I would fully understand, or it was sudden and almost coincidental, given the timing after the trip here, all that happened, and then a celebration back in Sweden. But boy, anybody that never saw him play would watch those ceremonies and the outpouring from players and fans and media, and realized this guy must have really been something, and that he was.
We're almost at the list. I know everybody's here for the Hodge 100, but we mentioned Hodge100.com. We mentioned the webmasters, Tyler Campbell, better known to FOTMs as the VP of Sales here at TMDS. Tyler sends in a question for you, Dave. He writes, I don't recall this coming up on a previous episode, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a memory of Dave interviewing Willie Plett between periods, and Willie pulled out a pair of scissors and cut Dave's tie. Am I remembering that correctly?
Well, first of all, thank you to Tyler for all the work he does on behalf of music, and for me and you on Hodge100.com. Not many people would have watched that because it was on a pay-per-view Minnesota North Stars telecast. So stuff like this could happen. It's not like we were on ESPN or CBC or anything like that. And Willie was this was Willie, and we used to kid off the air a lot. In fact, one of the great lines of all time when I asked Willie, somewhat in jest, I said, "Who's the worst coach you've ever played for?" And Willie said, "I don't know yet." It's not like he loved the coaches or any that were to come. But anyway, he came, sat down, full uniform intermission interview, and had a towel in his lap, which is fine. You want to wipe your brow after the period. And out from the towel at a certain point came a pair of scissors. And as we were talking, I think I was asking a question. And before he answered, he just cut my tie in half to see what my reaction would be. And knowing Willie Plett, I don't think it bothered me too much. I think I laughed as much as he did. And my goodness, somebody remembers that. That's amazing. It happened.
Wow. We're going to jog. This will be the last question, but this woman's name, the last name is Leifer, so I thought maybe I should give Diane Leifer the last question. We're going to jog your memory again, but Diane writes in, "Hi, Mike. Is there a chance Dave Hodge remembers a short-lived animated series on Hockey Night in Canada called ICE, I-C-E? Do you have any idea what Diane's referring to here?"
No. I mean, it could have preceded me. ICE, I-C-E. No, I don't.
All right, we don't know.
Say Peter Puck or
no.
King of Hockey or something like that. King of Hockey was a John Wayne movie.
No, but speaking of Peter Puck, I think this is maybe not since the last time because you're on for every single year here, but Brian McFarlane is now an FOTM, and we did spend a lot of time talking about Peter Puck.
Well, and Brian was at the Sports Media Canada luncheon, sitting, let's say I was sitting at his table. We were sitting at Brian Williams' table is the correct way to do that. But Brian and his wife, Joan, who every time I see her, I tell her, Brian, she looks younger. And Brian McFarlane says that must mean I look older. And I said, no, that's not what it means. I just mean to compliment Joan McFarlane, who looks fantastic for her age, which I know, but I'm not going to mention. But it was great to see Brian, and he had a lot of people who were happy to see him. He's another Sports Media Canada recipient of the past, as am I. And I tried to get a laugh right off the bat, and people sort of built to one. Because in 2006, I received something called the Lifetime Achievement Award, and they now call it the Career Achievement Award. And I applauded the change in name, but said I wasn't complaining about getting a Lifetime Achievement Award because I have really enjoyed my 16 bonus years, going on 17. So Brian received the Career Achievement Award, and that's a better name.
It's a smart move to change that name. All right, everybody, you have the ground rules. Dave's going to be playing, we're going to play the songs in their entirety, top 10, 10 to 1. But Dave is going to list the other 90 songs alphabetically. And I urge people to check out hodge100.com for all your Dave Hodge music list requirements. hodge100.com. Dave, let's get started.
I will do that. I would say happily, but you'll understand that it's not quite that. The first song we are going to hear in a couple of minutes is Stop and Start by the Sadies from an album titled Colder Streams, considered, rightly so, I think, one of that band's best, a legendary Toronto band, of course. And there have been a lot of Sadies albums, but boy, this is really something right up there near the top or at the top. But sadly, the last to include Dallas Good, guitar wizard supreme. His death is hardly the best subject to deal with right off the bat, but my year in music 2022 included too much bad news of that sort, and I really feel that I have to begin there. Dallas Good and Gordy Lewis of Teenage Head were friends of mine, and they were idolized by guitar players in Canada and everywhere else. I had the honor of speaking about Gordy Lewis at a celebration of his life, attended by 2,000 Teenage Head fans of all ages in Hamilton. And I will use this occasion to thank once again the Lewis family and Teenage Head for allowing me to do that. The music world also lost other Lewises, Ramsey Lewis and Jerry Lee Lewis, plus Ronnie Hawkins, Taylor Hawkins, Loretta Lynn, Meatloaf, Mark Lanigan, Ronnie Spector of the Ronettes, Be My Baby, Ian MacDonald of King Crimson and Foreigners, Susan Jacks, the Poppy Family, Jim Seals of Seals and Crofts, and Gary Brooker, Procol Harum, A Whiter Shade of Pale, one of the great all-time songs. Apologies to those not mentioned, but let us celebrate what they left behind. Here is Stop and Start by the Sadies.
7 years until the hex is broken. 7 years to endure the curse. And no magic words can be spoken. Potions and prayers will make it worse. The sadness comes with the setting sun. The war is won when the fight is done. Will you turn and run, or can you stop right now? You can stop right now. Stop and start right now. Do it once just to answer the question. Know how it feels to be like them. But when the poison has left the system, you'll have your reasons to try again. The sickness comes like a rising sun. Now your war is done. What have you become? Are you too far down to stop right now? Stop yourself right now. Stop and start right now. Let the spirits of the fallen guide you with every step and measured breath. Far away from the pain inside you, and focus on what you have left. When the sadness is won, when the madness comes, like kingdom come, I will be undone. We can still turn around if we just start right now. Can we start right now?
The Sadies fill the 10th spot on my list, and you were visited by a member of the Good family recently, Mike.
Brian Good dropped by just about a month ago with Banjo Dunk. And it was great to catch up with Brian Good and talk about the Good Brother. There is a hockey connection, of course, because Pat Burns was a regular contributor to the Good Brothers and would jump on stage with them. But we did speak about Dallas, a great loss to humanity and to the music community. But Dallas Good, of course, being Brian Good's nephew.
Well, happy to include the Sadies and should mention that the tradition goes on. They will be at Horseshoe Tavern for New Year's Eve. Talk about tradition, yeah. So good luck to Travis and the band and the family. And it was really a sad day to lose Dallas and Gordy and others. Now to the alphabet for the list. First 10 of the remaining 90. We're going to begin by accident, I guess. It's a play on a word because the list doesn't include a name that begins with AA or AB, but rather AC. And it's the Accidentals from Traverse City, Michigan with Wide Open. Next, very Canadian, very Toronto, always, I have to say, with 2 V's instead of a W for quick search success. And always features Molly Rankin of the Rankin family. This is a big hit everywhere, this album, and the song is After the Earthquake. Next is Courtney Marie Andrews, Older Now. Arkells absolutely outdid themselves again last Friday at Scotiabank Arena with Joel Plaskett Emergency opening. What a night. The Arkells song chosen here is their opener from 3 nights ago, Past Life. Seth Avett of the Avett Brothers, you know how popular they are with me, Mike. Seth has recorded an album of songs by an Iowa folk singer named Greg Brown. This song is about a career minor league ball player who realizes he'll never make it to the majors, and his destination thus becomes the title of the song, Laughing River. Tim Baker, among those wrapped in the pride of Newfoundland, formerly of Hey Rosetta, the song is Echo Park. Band of Horses with Lights. Matthew Barber, brother of Jill, high school friend of my children. Lovely song that asks, does anybody really know? Not these days. 2 more in this group. Gregor Barnett, otherwise of the punk group The Menzingers. Solo effort here is Don't Go Throwing Roses in My Grave. And to close out these 10, Beach House from Baltimore, Maryland. Maybe my favorite Beach House song is Superstar. Now we play number 9, and it is by Wilco. And I'll say this again a few times as we reach number 1 about others, like I'm saying about Wilco now. But if Wilco releases an album, it's almost automatic that a song from it will be chosen for this list. In this case, the album is called Cruel Country, and this is the title track.
Love my country like a little boy. Red, white, and blue. I love my country, stupid and cruel. Red, white, and blue. All you have to do is sing in the choir, kill yourself every once in a while, and sing in I love my country like a little child. Red, white, and blue. I love my country, stupid and cruel. Red, white, and blue. All you have to do is sing in the choir. All you have to do is sing in the choir. All you have to do is sing in the choir with me, with me.
That's Cruel Country by Wilco. I think the best Wilco album in a while. The very best may never be threatened, but what a band. Back to the alphabet now, still with B, and from the UK, this is Bear's Den with Shadows. The Beths are from New Zealand, Expert in a Dying Field. Back to London, England for the Big Moon, Daydreaming. And back to Toronto, Billy Talent. I'm pleased to know Ben Kowalowitz, and I'm pleased to be able to pronounce his name. The song is I Beg to Differ. The Black Keys, Dan Auerbach and Patrick Carney make a lot of great sounds. The album is called Dropout Boogie, so we'll call it that, I guess. Wild Child is the song. Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, it is their 25th anniversary tour, and the 25th anniversary is being celebrated in just over a week in Hamilton with a star-studded lineup of guest artists that includes Colin James, Tara Lightfoot, Serena Ryder, and others. You're a fan, right?
Oh, absolutely. And one of my favorite people to talk music, talk anything with, is Tom Wilson. So I've got a lot of time for any member of Blackie and the Rodeo Kings, but Tom Wilson, wow. I could listen to that guy read the phone book.
Well, read his books. And you get to know Tom as well as you would if you didn't know him. Another river song is Grand River by Blackie and the Rodeo Kings. Ian Blurton's Future Now, between A Change of Heart and Come On, and this, and just about everything Ian Blurton has done, great. You've had him on?
He made his debut this past summer. Dropped by the Backyard studio and blew my mind. I mean, I love Change of Heart, but just talking to Ian about, Blurtonia, everything. What great stories, and what a wonderful musician. Love that guy.
See, I miss Blurtonia. He's talked about many incarnations of this man's bands. Ian Blurton's Future Now, and the song is Like a Ghost. Blue Dogs have been around for a while from South Carolina. It's nice to recognize the old ones by playing a song called The Good Ones. Well, we're not playing it, but I'm mentioning it. Sarah Borges is country punk, I'm going to call it, from Boston. You Got Me on the Boat. And Broken Bells, featuring James Mercer of the Shins and Danger Mouse, Saturdays. Now to number 8 on the list, the Vandaliers. Those I know in the business of booking bands from club shows say this group from Dallas is as hot as it gets this year. Here are the Vandaliers with Bless Your Drunken Heart.
Knew I would find you at the bottom of the bottle, down below, dwelling in the dark. Knew I would find you right where the devil left you. God save your rotten soul and bless your drunken heart. Stumbling through the holler, soaked to the bone, blinded by the moon. You rambled on about the value of $1 and those good old days. You said everyone would lose. Knew I would find you at the bottom of the bottle, down low, dwelling in the dark. Knew I would find you right where the devil loved you. Save your rotten soul and bless your drunken heart. Well, there's sorrow in every word you mutter, misery and heartbreak cloaked in charm. You praise the friends who left you in the gutter. Nights like these are cold, and times like these are hard. Knew I would find you at the bottom of the bottle, down below, dwelling in the dark. Knew I would find you right where the devil left you. God save your rotten soul and bless your drunken heart. You can lean on me, now I'll take you home. We could sing together the places we won't go. Knew I would find you at the bottom of a bottle, down below, dwelling in the dark. Knew I would find you right where the devil left you. God save your rotten soul and bless your drunken heart.
There they are, the Vandaliers, and I guess you got to see them, which I haven't, but I played this record a lot, and I do want to see them. So as they get bigger, I will. The alphabetical list thus resumes, still with the B's. The Brothers, I know you think their names are brother, but they're not, but they are brothers, and some have compared them to the Everly Brothers. This is a cover of my favorite James Taylor song, You Can Close Your Eyes. Mariel Buckley is from Calgary. It is nice to recognize her with Shooting at the Moon. Jay Bird, B-Y-R-D, if you're looking it up, and do to find out more about him, because I don't know much about him, but I like the song. It's called At Home Again. Camp, spelled with 2 A's, again for search purposes. The song is Apple Tree Blues. Cactus Blossoms from Minneapolis, also an Everly Brothers comparison. Hey Baby. Ethel Kane is from Alabama with very positive reviews for a song called American Teenager. Camp Trash. This has to be rock, right? Yeah, it is. From Florida, and Pursuit is the song. Caleb Caudle. I don't mean to, make any comment about the name, but Caleb Caudle should be from the South, North Carolina, as it were. He sings about Forsythia. The Coffis Brothers, roots rock from California, Ramona. And this part of the list ends with Toronto's Jason Collette, Dark Times. Now time to hear number 7. And I'll simply say, if you loved Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, you loved and probably know of guitarist Mike Campbell. He carries on, as does the Tom Petty sound. Here's Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs with Wicked Mind.
I didn't get home till way past midnight. Sneaking through the alley like a hungry dog. I'm not used to living high on the hog. I don't think you understand what kind of man I really am. I'm a sinner with a rebel soul, got a wicked mind with a heart of gold. Put me on a train before I hit the wall and go insane. There's no telling if I'm ever coming back. Who knows what's waiting down the track? I don't think you understand what kind of man I really am. I'm a sinner with a rebel soul, got a wicked mind and a heart of gold. I ain't living a lie. I'll tell you why. Yeah, I got my pride. I ain't afraid to die. I jumped over the wall. Under a barbed wire fence I had to crawl. But I made it to the Alabama line. Delusions of grandeur in my mind. I don't think you understand what kind of man I really am. I'm a sinner with a rebel soul, got a wicked mind and a heart of gold. I'm a sinner with a rebel soul, got a wicked mind and a heart of gold.
You want to rock? You have more of that with Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. Fantastic stuff. In the alphabet, we're still at C. Martin Courtney is known to fans of the band Real Estate. This is his solo effort, Exit Music. The Dead Tongues, North Carolina, Garden Song. Then there's Dead, spelled with an H, where you think an A should be, so D-E-H-D, from Chicago with Bad Love. Here's where I have to get sort of bilingual, and you wouldn't think that would be hard because the group is from New Orleans, and thus I would call them the DeLone. But everywhere I have heard them introduced, they are the Deslons. Shouldn't be. Anyway, their song is Ways and Means. The Dropkick Murphys have an album of songs that feature Woody Guthrie lyrics. Okay, give it a try. The song is Never Get Drunk No More. Andrew Duhon, also from New Orleans, Slow Down. Steve Earle recorded an album of Jerry Jeff Walker songs. This is Getting By. Simon Felice of the Felice Brothers, beautiful song, After the Rain. My friend Craig Finn of the Hold Steady has been busy with his solo work and his mates in the Uptown Controllers. Here he is the Amarillo Kid. And we end another list of 10 with First Aid Kit, the lovely Soderbergh singing sisters named Soderbergh from Sweden. The song is Turning On to You. Number 6. Officially, all of the Brandi Carlile Grammy nominations, and it is a long list, come from a 2021 album. So not eligible for this list. How do I get Brandi Carlile on the list? Well, I have to somehow. So on tour this year, she occasionally included a David Bowie cover. I Share a Birthday with David Bowie and Elvis Presley, for that matter. I Name My Latest and presumably Last Dog, Bowie. And this is my favorite Bowie song, sung by one of my very favorite artists, Brandi Carlile's version of Space Oddity.
Ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. Check ignition and may God's love be with you.
Now it's time to leave.
nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can, nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do.
Wow is all I can say. Anytime I hear Space Oddity, and the first time I heard Brandi Carlile was like, wow. The next 10 will begin with Tom Freund. Let's call it folk rock, and the song is Don't Wait. Aldous Harding, distinctive female voice from New Zealand, singing Fever. The Headstones, Kingston, of course. I had the pleasure of meeting guitarist Trent Carr at the Gordy Lewis event. This song is called Everything or Nothing at All. Will Hogue, Nashville, You Are the Place. Howdy, here we go again, just like always. There are two V's where W would be in Howdy. The song is Blindsided. Freddie Johnston is another veteran folk rocker, shall we say. Great song, Trying to Move On. Noah Kahn is a New Englander who burst onto the scene this year, especially with this song, Stick Season. Kiwi Jr. from Toronto. I can't give anything but the highest recommendation for what this band has put out. And we mentioned them years ago when they, well, not many years ago when they started. Favorite song from the latest album by Kiwi Jr. is The Sound of Music. Nikki Lane, another Nashville mention here, her most impressive album by far, I would say. I could have picked almost any song. I picked Send the Sun. And next week, I guess this is December 6th, when the months turn. I wonder, lose track. But December 6th at the Horseshoe, you can see Nikki Lane, and presumably she will sing Send the Sun. And we finish this group with Larkin Poe sisters, Rebecca and Megan, neither named Larkin nor Poe. Guitars and voices. And really, it's a tie which are best. The song is Georgia, Off My Mind. Now to number 5, out of left field, let's say. My friend Craig Lasky from the Horseshoe Tavern told me to listen to a song by the Bad Ends, an Athens, Georgia supergroup. It is being called in Athens, Georgia, featuring, to prove that, Bill Berry, who is REM's drummer. Craig Lasky knows what I like, and he is right about this. It is from an album to be released in January. Unfortunately, the song's title doesn't lift our mood here, but listen to this. This is really great. All Your Friends Are Dying.
Try to find you at the show. You know the crowds weren't too thick for anyone to find anybody. I know you didn't go, did you? But I really needed someone to witness what I was seeing downtown on the quad that night. And as the sun went down, the lights began to glow. Jody came up to sing try to remember every sound and every note, because it wasn't anything I'd expected to hear. And there were some pretty big holes on stage, and more than anything else, I wanted to hear them filled. And before Big Star came on, the Clans opened up the show. Frank played his SG again, and it really gave me a thrill. I know that all your friends are lying in the sun. I know they're going off with everyone. I have noticed that all your friends are dying. Yeah, all your friends are dying one by one. I know you don't wanna be here, and everyone knows you're not clear. And after all, it's just another summer Friday night, and I can tell I'll be late, but I really don't wanna fight. I know that all your friends are lying in the sun. I know they're going off with everyone. I have noticed that all your friends are dying. Yeah, all your friends are dying one by one.
That was the Bad Ends from Athens, Georgia, and this kind of blew my mind. But last night they played a live show, their first ever. They obviously been in the studio, but not playing to a crowd. They were scheduled to play last night, and they were playing on the very site of REM's very first show.
Wow.
The site is not what it was then. I think it was a church. There is a church now. I don't know which. But anyway, Bill Berry, REM's drummer, back with the Bad Ends, and the album comes out in January. We pick up the alphabetical list with one more from L. This is MJ Lenderman from Asheville, North Carolina, with Hangover Game. Now to M for a while, Massey Ferguson. Not the tractor company, but a group from Seattle. I played this a lot this year. Miles Away. Ashley McBride is relatively new, 2 or 3 years to the Nashville scene. Terrific country album. The song is called Bonfire of Tina's. Cass McCombs sings Karaoke. Literally, Karaoke is the name of the song. Midnight Oil. One of Australia's all-time great bands, still around, Rising Seas. Rhett Miller from the old 97, solo effort is Go Through You. Kevin Morby featuring Aaron Ray, Bittersweet, Tennessee. Morningsiders, I will call it alt folk. Bowery Ballroom. Mountjoy has a song that everybody named Johnson should hear because it's called Johnson's Song. And Willie Nile released a single last month that featured Steve Earle. It is called Wake Up America. And I would add, well, let's hope. But we in Canada shouldn't be smug, so I'll just leave it at that. Politics aside, and back to music. Willie Nile and Lowest of the Low will celebrate the Horseshoe Tavern's 75th anniversary on December 7th. It is a sold-out show. Willie is one of my dearest musical friends, and I will be happy to see him there. And your favorites?
Love them.
LOTL.
I'm going to see them at Lee's Palace on December 3rd. Looking forward to seeing them. By the way, I have a note from Lawrence Nichols, member of Lowest of the Low, who said he was looking forward to your top 100 and just wished there was a release in time to make the list. So the boys from Lowest of the Low love it when they make the Hodge 100.
Well, they made it with this mention at least, and I did make certain that there was nothing that I could put in here that said 2022, and had to make sure that Willie Niles' song with Steve Earle got mentioned because I almost missed it. It came out just last month. So now we get to number 4, and I guess you're wondering when we would get to Frank Turner, but that's another of those automatic ones like Wilco and Brandy Carlisle. And this fits with every other Frank Turner punk rock classic. It is called The Gathering.
The first time that the beat drops in the bar is going to be biblical. The second that the sing-along starts, it'll be sensational. So sound the alarms and the sirens, the bells in the churches. Bring your parents and your kids into the street and throw open the hatches. I'm missing the feeling when we close up the gaps between us. It's better than the best benediction, embracing the bloodlust. 'Cause we've been waiting and wondering, practicing and praying, saving and slavering, gathering ourselves for the gathering. We've been huddled in our houses for however many days like survivors. And we've been dutifully paying our dues and paying heed to our advisors. Yeah, but we're pent up and we're pissed off and we're perilously close to the precipice. With butterflies in ballet shoes and proper creepers coming out of our chrysalis. It comes down to this. I'm missing the feeling when we close up the gaps between us. It's better than the best benediction, we're bracing the bloodlust. 'Cause we've been waiting and wondering, practicing and praying, saving and slavering, gathering ourselves for the gathering. All together now. This is our mantra, we gather together, we look out for each other 'cause we got strength in our numbers. This is our mantra, we gather together, we look out for each other 'cause we got strength in our numbers. And I'll be the preacher, and this is the scripture. Once more with feeling, this is a gathering.
One of the great live shows of all time continues to be Frank Turner and the Sleeping Souls. I hope you enjoyed The Gathering, and see Frank Turner wherever, whenever you can. He plays every night somewhere in this world, just not often enough in Canada, but we can hope he returns sooner rather than later. On we go with another 10 songs to be mentioned. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band. Yeah, you sort of chuckle at the name, and they're famous for the classic country song, Will a Circle Be Unbroken? But I saw them live, and it is an excellent live show, the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band, and this is from a record of Dylan covers. This is Girl from the North Country that I selected. Ian Noll came close to heading this list in 2019, I believe, which you can check, odd100.com. That song was called Irene, which I continue to hum. and whistle. And this is called River Fool. Pet Needs is UK punk, often opening for Frank Turner. The song is Lost Again. Plains. I love the album. It's a collaboration. The artist known as Waxahachie and Jess Williamson. Again, the duo is called Plains. Not airplanes, but I'm spelling things this year, Mike. Plains, Plains, and this song is Problem With It. Steve Poltz, a storyteller supreme, wonderful guy, originally from Halifax, lyrics that demand a close listen every time, so do so here if you get around to listening to Wrong Town. Post Animal, a very interesting Chicago band, wide-ranging style. This just rocks. It is called No More Sports. Pop, Toronto's punk rockers, Totally Fine. Bonnie Raitt, no info needed. She sings Made Up Mind. Red Hot Chili Peppers, think Under the Bridge when you hear this. It's called Black Summer. And the Sam Roberts Band from Montreal. As Sam always says, we're the Sam Roberts Band from Montreal. And I wear my Expos hat to every Sam show, and your listeners seem to like it. So I'm putting it on for the Sam Roberts Band. I'll keep it on the rest of the time. And if you're only listening, you got to trust me. My Expos hat is on. Sam Roberts Band with Youth. Number 3, as we get closer to unveiling 2 and 1. Number 3 is by Angel Olsen from Asheville, North Carolina. Another mention of that musical hotbed. This is from a beautifully produced album. Very well reviewed this year, on the top of many lists. And from the album comes a song I like best called All the Good Times.
I can't say that I'm sorry when I don't feel so wrong anymore. I can't tell you I'm trying when there's nothing left here to try for. And I don't know how it happened. We both abandoned the reason we used to believe. Was it love that we shared when we easily cared? Now it's impossible to conceive. I don't know who can see if you've ever learned how to let someone in. Well, I've tried to come find you, but I just don't know where to begin. If you've ever been open, there's no way of knowing with the way that knowing you has been. Was it always so broken? If these thoughts were spoken, would it bring us together again? I can't say that I'm sorry when I don't feel so wrong anymore. I can't tell you I'm trying when there's nothing left here to try for. Well, I can't be the one to keep holding you back. If there's something you're missing, then go right ahead. I'll be long gone. Thanks for the songs, guess it's time to
Angel Olsen. Listen to the whole album. It's top to bottom terrific. 20 more songs to get us close to 100. And numbers 2 and 1 still to come, of course. But the list resumes with a cut from the long-awaited release of the Rolling Stones' famous pop-up surprise hush-hush Toronto show at the El Macombo. The year was 1977. You had to know about it, and I happened to know about it, and so I could have been there, but for something called work. So any song from the Stones at the Elmo could have been picked here, but why not Tumblin' Dice? Rural Alberta Advantage, interesting name for a Toronto band. Three Sisters. From Montreal, Alison Russell, the quickest rise to stardom I could name. Such well-deserved recognition. This is a single that features Brandi Carlile, who has praised Alison, her friend, at every turn. This recording is another example of stuff that they have done together, and it is called You're Not Alone. Sloan, Halifax, Toronto, let's just say one of Canada's all-time rock bands, right, Mike?
Absolutely love Sloan, and I saw them recently. Still sound amazing.
This song is called Magical Thinking. Spoon, the pride of Austin, Texas, the hardest cut. Sports teams. Now, I listened because of the band's name, and I kept listening. The song, it's rock, good rock and roll. The song is called The Drop. Bruce Springsteen, from his album of R&B covers. There you go. Bruce is giving me a call right now.
The boss is on the line.
This is all real. This is a Commodore song. Night Shift. Tears for Fears still around. I don't know if you knew that. I wasn't sure I did, but this song is called Break the Man. More punk. Some people would like more, some people would like less, but there's always punk on my list. Titus Andronicus, wild stuff from a New Jersey band. The song is We're Coming Back. And here we go with another live album from the past, 1991 to be exact. The venue was the Roxy, Hollywood, California. The band was the Tragically Hip. Again, any cut will do. From their live album, 1991, I picked Cordelia. Great to hear the Hip anytime, anywhere. I see an album cover behind you.
Road Apples. And
you know what? You know it's my favorite Hip album, right?
it's my favorite Hip album. That's Road Apples is my favorite Hip album.
There you go. So now we're at number 2. And it does require a bit of an explanation because I normally don't pick songs for this list. And I certainly don't place them this high if I'm not a real fan of the artist or the band. And the group is called Big Thief. And Big Thief gets rave reviews from many others, but usually not from me, except for this song that for whatever reason, I listened to once, twice, and then wound up playing more than any other song this year. It's called Red Moon.
Curiously
That's Red Moon by Big Thief, and I'm in a better mood after I hear Red Moon, and I've heard it all year long, or ever since it came out. 10 more to the finish line, where my song of the year awaits. We'll resume the list with Trampled by Turtles, one of the best band names ever. Right, Mike?
Oh, I feel bad for the Turtles, but it is a great band name.
Duluth, Minnesota. Like if Bob Dylan had been born somewhere else,
Right.
Trampled by Turtles might be the best music ever to come out of Duluth, but sorry. Anyway, great band. The song is It's So Hard to Hold On. Urge Overkill. Long ago, a song called Sister Havana was a hit and a favorite of mine. And in 2022, my favorite Urge song is Forgiven. For me and for you, Mike, I know you will wonder why he's not in the top 10, and I don't have a good answer, but it's a good song that really gets the crowd going. And we're talking about Eddie Vedder. You want to say something about Eddie before I mention the song? Because you might have a different one.
Well, similar to the point that we both enjoy Road Apples, because the Tragically Hip's entire catalog is amazing, but we both love Road Apples the most. I always found it fascinating, and I would tell anyone who would dare listen to me, I would be like, Dave Hodge and I have this same favorite Pearl Jam song, which is a cover, Crazy Mary, a Victoria Williams cover. So much like you kicked out Brandi Carlile's Space Oddity here, it was the cover of Crazy Mary that we both gravitated towards.
Yep. This Eddie Vedder album of this year has a lot of songs that I could have picked. I picked one that just watching a video and seeing the crowd's reaction to it made it my favorite song of 2022 by Eddie Vedder. The song is Long Way. Butch Walker, performer, producer, loved him live several years ago. One more time. Roll Away is the name of the song. Sky Wallace is from Toronto. I'll pause and give you the mic, Mike.
Recently, I was at the El Macombo, the street level room, to see Ron Hawkins perform, and Sky was there, and I chatted her up, and she was there to support a local band called Altered by Mom, and I dove into Altered by Mom, and I'm just here to report Altered by Mom, fantastic. I've invited the duo to visit my basement studio to dive a little deeper.
Great. You have added at least one of your own songs to my list of groups. I know you're a fan of Sky Wallace, and I know of her career very well because I am a very good friend of her agent. So he made me aware, you made me aware, and now I am aware of Sky Wallace. And this list features Sky singing a song called Tooth and Nail. The artist known as Wise Blood, and I'm spelling it again, Wise, W-E-Y-E-S, Wise Blood, another glowing voice and record. She's been mentioned here before. I think this album is the best album that didn't place a song in the top 10, and that may make no sense, but from beginning to end, the Wise Blood album that features the song called Grapevine is highly recommended. Jack White, 2 albums, so I had a choice, one hard, one soft. I went with the latter all along the way. And one of the best rock bands, not yet best known rock bands, is White Reaper from Louisville, Kentucky. And I'm interested in the band members' names, a couple of them at least. So I'm going to mention them. On guitar and vocals, Tony Esposito. And also included is Hunter Thompson. No middle initial S that I know of, but the song from a forthcoming album by White Reaper is Pages. We have 2 more, Wild Rivers, Toronto, Weatherman, and from the UK, Wonder Horse, or Wunder Horse, I guess, according to the spelling. It's W-U, not W-O. The song takes us nicely to number 1 because from Wunder Horse comes Leader of the Pack. Now, drum roll, please. Red Moon, number 2 just played, was number 1 for a long time. I said I listened to it more than any other. but it was displaced in the number one spot when Bonnie Light Horseman released another album in early October. I'm a folkie more than anything else if I need a music ID. This is contemporary folk at its best. Bonnie Light Horseman is the union of Eric B. Johnson from the Fruit Bats, great band, Aeneas Mitchell, famous for an album Hadestown that became a Broadway play that won several Tony Awards, and Josh Kaufman, strictly an instrumentalist in this group, superstar producer for the likes of The National. Craig Finn of the Hold Steady has done some work with Taylor Swift, especially on her Folklore album, which I think is her best work, in my opinion. Anyway, Bonnie Light Horseman, can't say enough. My song of the year is California.
One fine morn, just after dawn, my love and I ride in. Dew on the trees, sun in the east, slipping and a sliding. Goodbye to California. Seems like we hardly knew ya. Seems good a time as any to believe in the land of plenty. With a broken heart and a crow in the yard, my love and I leaving. Down the road a ways, the hills ablaze, looking for a reason. Goodbye to the old country. Seems like you hardly knew me. Seems good a time as any to believe in the land of plenty. Seems like you hardly knew me. Seems good a time as any to believe in the land of plenty. Goodbye to California. Seems like we hardly knew ya. Seems good a time as any to believe in the land of plenty.
And there you go, Mike. I hope you like, well, all 100 if you get a chance, but especially the top 10. What do you think?
Dave, I can't wait to dive in. And again, hodge100.com will have playlists, both Apple and Spotify, so people can easily hear Dave's 100 songs of 2022. But Dave, I'm honored, absolutely honored to have you on my show unveiling your top 100 of 2022. It's our 5th year in this annual tradition, and I absolutely cannot wait to do this again next year. Thank you, Dave Hodge.
I have one. Just people always ask, how do you find 100 songs? and not, I mean, not, I don't want any awards for this, but I explained that the difficulty of finding 100 is paring it down from a list of 400. I started with 400 possible albums/songs and came up with 100, and that's why I don't bother trying to decide what should be 38 or 58 or whatever. I just, there's a 101 song out there somewhere too. And there's a number 11 that nobody will know, but you do know the first 10. So Mike, 2023, let's hope it's a great year for music. As I say, we lost, this happens every year, but especially in my case, two people that I considered friends. And I might add, I host concerts at Redstone Winery. I've done for 6 years. My producer at Redstone lost his life this year in the worst way. I can't. Well, he was killed. Paul Pender was one of the great winemakers in this country and one of the great people I've ever met. And putting that together with Dallas and Gordy and other things that happened this year, not a great year, but music lifts you. And that's what it needs to do, and that's what it needed to do this year. And that's what this does for me, like coming on and talking about music and hoping that somebody out there says, gee, I heard a song that I never would have heard if I hadn't listened to Dave and Mike. So that's the reason we do this, I think. And let's hope the word spreads.
And that brings us to the end of our 1160th show. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Toronto Mike. Dave is at Dave Hodge 20. Our friends at Great Lakes Brewery are at Great Lakes Beer. Palma Pasta is at Palma Pasta. Sticker U is at Sticker U. Moneris is at Moneris. Raymond James Canada are at Raymond James CDN. Recycle My Electronics are at EPRA_Canada. Ridley Funeral Home are at Ridley FH. Canna Cabana are at Canna Cabana _. And Sammy Cohn Real Estate is at Sammy Cohn. That's KOHN. See you all next week.
Where you been? Because everything is coming up rosy and green. Yeah, the wind is cold, but the smell of snow warms me today. And your smile is fine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away. 'Cause everything is rosy and green. Well, you've been under my skin for more than 8 years. I play this guitar just the best that I can. Maybe I'm not and maybe I am. Who gives a damn, because everything is coming up rosy and green. Yeah, the wind is cold, but the smell of snow warms me today. And your smile is fine, and it's just like mine, and it won't go away. 'Cause everything is rosy and gray. Well, I've kissed you in France, and I've kissed you in Spain, and I've kissed you in places I better not name. And I've seen the sun go down on Sacré-Cœur, but I like it much better